Yes, sir. How are you?
What's going on, Joel? How are you, bro?
Good. I'm good. This is
Yeah.
our this is our third episode.
Episode 3, bro. We've made it. We are officially a podcast now. We're past
Crazy, isn't
we're
it?
past the point of no return.
That's it. So we just have to be consistent for every week for
Yeah,
our
that's right.
loyal audience who
Of course.
tune in either on Spotify or on YouTube and all the other platforms.
It must be in the millions by now, 3 episodes. I don't know.
Yeah, I see the streaming. I see the streaming rates. I don't think it's reached the millions yet,
It's
but
not
yeah,
quite millions yet. Okay, cool. Give
nah,
it
but
another let's give it another 3 weeks.
that's it. I just hope our existing audience is getting some value anyway,
Yeah,
which is the main thing.
absolutely. Absolutely right. Absolutely right, bro. How's
So
your
how's
week
your
been going, man? What's been going on your side?
Yeah, just doing projects. So this period for me, because we focus on education and my business predominantly educational customers,
Yeah,
schools are out and it allows us to do projects within the summer holidays
right.
or breaks in general. This is a time where we could switch things off, replace things, upgrade things. So it's needed because it's very difficult to do so during term time when the kids are in and the teachers are doing their thing.
Mm.
So yeah, I've got a couple of projects to whack out. I've had two members of staff calling sick, so kind of made it a bit set us back a bit
Okay.
because we're doing three projects at the moment.
Yep.
So yeah, that's probably an interesting topic. How do you manage sick days? How do you manage absences when you employ people?
I was just going to ask you, who handles the work when you got people that are ill or that are sick?
Um, well, that's the thing. The bigger your team, the the more chances of you actually managing it better.
Okay.
I think on the early days for myself, it's you're basically moving things around and phoning up customers to see if you could move around their appointments to different points in the week to accommodate the short
Staff
staff. And
shortage. Yeah. Okay.
yeah, so that's at the early stages.
Yes.
When you do expand your team, then you're basically foreseeing those instantly. The probability of that happening is higher because you've got more people.
So,
Um,
so do
so
you build in redundancy into your workforce so that you've always got somebody that's kind of not at a loose end, but somebody that all can always pick up the slack? Or I think that's a luxury to have, right? On a small business, it's a luxury to have somebody who could pick up the slack if necessary, isn't it?
yeah, and this is where you have to have your wage structure on point,
Right.
um, because it's that balance. Can you afford to have that person as a spare? And do you have enough work for the person who is supposedly spare
Right. That's right.
during that period where you're kind of anticipating if something goes wrong, then you've got someone to fill in that gap if someone's off sick or annual leave or whatnot.
Okay. Cool.
Or what in the early stages of your tenure when you start to run your business, and if you start, let's say for example, you hire someone, you're you're the one covering.
Right.
So there'll be many occasions where I've covered, and I still cover. I still cover now every now and again. So it's not like I don't cover as much. And it's that balance is it's quite difficult to kind of gauge because you're small, and do you want to fork out that extra money or
Right.
just in case,
Are,
really?
are all your are all your employees full-time employees, PAYE? You
Yeah,
all right, so they're all full.
barring one. I've got one kind of on a 0 hours, I can say 0 hour contract, but he's
I
pretty
know what
much,
you mean. I know you.
yeah, he's pretty much um close to full time.
Yes.
So yeah,
And question
so
for you, why did you choose to go full on employee rather than contractor mode or contract people in? Why did you decide to do it that way?
I mean, originally I did have contractors. It was far more easier to have contractors at the early stages. So, but like we touched on before with your
Yes, yes,
circumstances,
yes, yes.
yeah, definitely easier to have contractors.
Way
Um,
easier, right?
at the early stages, but it all depends on the growth of your business and then your responsibility for the customers you're offering a service to.
Okay.
because that's the key. For me, that's the kind of the leverage and the key. So, and it depends on the nature of your business. So your business, let's say for example, is teaching to a certain extent.
That's right. That's exactly what
Yeah.
it is. Yeah.
So, and I've got two businesses, one for tech and one for teaching. So you need to have in the back of your mind that the specific person, I mean, obviously it doesn't matter if you're employee or contractor, they could obviously leave, but there's a certain obligation when you employ someone, because they expect specific things from you as an employer, and employees vice versa. They're safe to their understanding. People like to be employed. They like the regular wage, and they like the certainty of
The income.
of the income and what they're doing. With self-employed, there's the uncertainty, more of an uncertainty, because I could say to that specific person, I don't need you tomorrow.
Right.
It's literally out the blue. I could call them in on a Tuesday and say, I don't need you tomorrow. I'm not contractually obligated to give them, money or do redundancies or whatever.
I think this was part of our very first podcast. I think we touched on this on the very, very first episode that we spoke about. I remember now, because I'm more along the lines of, I don't want to get into PAYE. I don't want to get into the lines of having to pay for holidays and holiday time and sickness and benefits. I'm just like, yo, bro, you want to do a job? Okay, invoice me at the end of the month. We're all in this. We're all in this together. But like I said, I've really been thinking about your response to that, which was, at some point or another, and I'm even mentioning this to Jude, at some point or another, we're going to need people that just come to work at 9 o'clock, finish at 5, and that's it. They go home. They just don't. They've got no investment in the long-term future. They just want a salary and do a job. And we will need those. We will need those people at some point as well.
I mean, I wouldn't necessarily disregard them and say they don't think of a long-term future, because you have to inspire them to see the future within your organization.
No,
that's the whole.
No. Let me say that. I mean that they don't see the long-term future, or they don't care about the long-term future of the organization. What you're saying is that, maybe you can tell me if I'm wrong. I think what you're saying is that the leader has to encourage the individual to think about a long-term future for themselves within the organization. Is that what you're saying?
It's a bit of both. All right. So let's say it depends on the specific person's ambition and who are you, on what the role you're hiring them for. Okay. And that's key. So, I would say I hire high individual skills in the sense of the requirements I look for. So my average salary with my current employees are 30,000 and above.
Amazing.
Yeah. So when you're doing those kind of brackets regarding salary wise, you're actually paying for the level of skill and experience for a specific person you want.
Good. Very good. Yeah. Very, very good. Yeah.
So when you do that, they are very, very interested in the organization they're working for, and seeing if there's opportunities and growth within.
Very good. Very interesting. You're highlighting a very clear the gap between the kind of the size of organization that you're running and the size of organization that I'm running. Yeah. Because, whilst, to be honest with you, we're paying our sales individual extraordinarily well. I would say really, really, really well. Yeah. But he's being paid on commissions. So you get paid on what you sell. And if it turns out to be X, it turns out to be X. If it turns out to be 5X, it's 5X, right? Yeah. And he's being paid really, really well. But in terms of a member of staff that's come into the organization to do something, now we're not paying 30K salaries right now. It's really impressive that you're at that. And you've got how many? 6 members of staff, you said the other week? 10 members of staff, and your minimum salary is 30 grand, bro. Jeez.
Yeah, on average, yeah. So but with you made a good point regarding the commission concept. The commission concept is still, even for me, that's a dream. If I can get someone to do based on commission and I pay them based on that, yeah, why not? Yeah. So when you get into that point where you're like, okay, you've got a wage bill every month you have to pay for, regardless if you've generated revenue or not.
Correct.
Because you're going to have difficult months depending on the nature of the year, basically how good the market is.
Yes.
And if you made money in a good quarter or the second quarter or the third quarter, it doesn't matter. Your obligation is to make sure you're paying that wage for that person,
Yes.
relies on that for their mortgage, buying groceries, their lifestyle, whatever. So it's just a different mindset, a different frame. And then obviously, like I said, it's at some point when you grow, you'll know when there'll be something in your head. No, I need consistency. I need a specific thing.
Interesting. Very
Yeah.
interesting.
So
Very
at the
interesting.
moment, you're cool. It depends if you want to grow it as well. So at some point if you do grow it and you do want to bring in people, then there has to be a level of consistency and
Correct.
and
Correct.
also accountability.
Stability and accountability. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Accountability as well. So
Yeah.
when you're doing self-employed people, then yes, it's more like I said, a contractual obligation. I say, all right, this is what you want from me, but I'm not. It's that that nurturing is not necessarily there. That goal, that vision, it's more selfishness. It's more of an individual concept approach when you deal with a contract.
Okay. Yeah, I think you're right. But the thing again, it's a different stage of business. I look forward to the stage of business where we need to have just regular staff who come in, they're consistent, they're on the books. That's going to be cool, and we will get there.
Yeah, you'll get there.
I love the concept of bringing on board somebody who just wants to like startup mentality, right?
Yeah.
We're at we are at startup phase, although we're kind of 3 years in still. Where revenue is, I would say, very, very decent, but it's young, man. It's young. It's a young business. It's a young business. Put it this way. I need to be careful with my words. I really believe in the power of my own words. So let me ask a question instead.
Okay.
At what stage did you get in your business where you thought, okay, I'm cool now. This business is working. This is cool. There's no way that this crumbles unless somebody really kind of messes up in a big way. There's no way that this is that this is not a true going concern. How many years into your business did you feel like, okay, cool, I'm good now. I'm good. I'm all right. We're comfortable. Not to stop working, but yeah, this business works.
Never. I've never felt like that. I've never felt like that. So,
Thank you, bro. Thank you.
I think if you ever feel like that, you've probably been bought out, and then that's it. Someone's bought your business, or you've basically stopped trading because you don't want to trade anymore. There will be no point. There will be, especially at this stage, there'll be no point where you think you could rest on your laurels at any point of business. So even if you get to your business to a certain extent and you're overseeing the business, you still can't rest on your laurels, because the person who's managing your business, you're going to be on he or she's case.
But at what point do you
what's
get?
going.
At what point do you get to your business and you say, you know what, I'm cool with this now. I know that every month there's going to be this much amount coming in, that the business is growing, that we're on the right track, that everything's cool. Nice, yeah. I'm never going to stop working. I'm always got to hustle. I've always got the next goal, the next target, the next client, the next product. I've always got that in mind. But at what point do you ever say, okay, cool, I got a business now?
There isn't a point until you stop. There's not a point where you're cool about the business that you're theoretically running.
I'm glad you said it. I'm
Yeah,
glad.
there isn't. And if you are like that, then you're taking the eye off the ball, and something negatively will be happening to your business. You always try to grow your business because someone else is trying to take your customers, or there's something. You have to be innovative. You have to be consistently growing.
You know what? That's the answer I came to. That's the answer I came to. I was asking myself that this afternoon. At what point do you just feel like you're out of the woods, like you're out of the fire? You're plain sailing on the ocean now. It's all not just plain sailing, but smooth sailing. At what point do you ever feel that you're smooth sailing? And I think the answer that I came to was because I don't know, because that's in the future.
Yeah.
I just came to the answer. Well, maybe never. Maybe never. Maybe never. As a small business owner, maybe even as a medium-sized business owner, maybe there's never a time when you can say to yourself, we're good. This is kind. Autopilot. I don't think there's ever a time when you can go onto autopilot.
only like Jeff Bezos and that kind of standard, I think maybe. But even for them, it's they have no responsibilities for their organizations. So it's Amazon runs itself. Um, he's just got shares in it. He just has a little bit of involvement, more of a token gesture. It's maybe in that level, maybe I would say. But
Think about the local electrician or the local plumber or the local florist
oh, it's constant.
or the
Yeah.
local coffee shop, whatever it might be, right?
Mm.
At what point does this small business owner think to themselves, "I'm cool. This is nice."
No.
I don't
Well,
think.
to my understanding, I don't think they will ever do that, especially if you're running something, especially with like coffee shops and or because it's the overheads. I think it's a good point what you brought up because I think regarding when people think about businesses, and I always think this when I walk around, especially if I go to different places and I'm chatting to different people and whatnot, depending on where I am, as a business person or as an entrepreneur or whatever, every now and again you may kind of walk past a shop and think, okay, what's the overheads on that?
Hmm.
How are you making a return? How are you making revenue?
Hmm.
Yeah, it's just a thing. Like, if e-com's business or whatever, but I tend to, especially if I go to like if I'm going shopping with my missus and I go into a shop, I'm like, okay, cool. You know, how much is it to keep your lights on? What's the margin on these projects, on these
Hmm.
products?
Right, bro.
And,
Honestly,
I just constantly start to think about these things when people start, if I see innovative businesses or local shops, like even so, but I've been looking for opening up, if I could, event space.
okay, cool. That's nice.
Now,
Nice
the,
idea.
the,
Yeah.
the reason why I'm focused more on event space is because of the supposedly minimum requirements or labor I would need to keep that place up and running.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
So, and then everything that within that event space, for example, let's say the lights, the decorations, or behind the bar, but the bar is a big thing. So if you've got an event space where you've got the bar, you can make ridiculous money within one evening within the
That's
bar. You could cover all your overheads for the month just for
drinks
one
alone.
evening. Yeah,
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
drinks alone, killer.
Yeah.
So, but I've been looking at specific areas where there's parking or transport. I've been
Yes.
obviously making sure I can help open up to a certain point, or making sure I could have a bar license as well, so I can sell drinks,
Yeah.
alcohol. So I have been looking at, there's one or two places I've inquired, but it was a bit too expensive. So, but that's something where I'm still looking into do because of the higher return of investment. I believe you can do because you could literally, um, for example, Thursday evening, Friday evening, Saturday evening, Sunday evening. You could use this if you have the space within the day. You could probably rent it out to a local nursery or daycare so they can have the space during the day. There's
Right.
multiple kind of things you can do with that area.
Yes. Yes. So
Yeah,
right.
yeah, and
Yeah.
everyone wants it's some form of celebration, some sort
Mhm.
of or some sort of event. So a birthday or um, but dare I say funerals or whatever. There's always something that
Yes.
people want to do some form of
Event.
occasion and
Right.
then get people together. And I the only if you think about it, the only negative thing I would say about it is unsociable hours.
I'm
So
trying to.
when
I'm losing how this is connecting to what we were saying before.
it's more to do with the concept of like um, having a business or starting a business and with how much money do you need to start a business and then therefore the return of the money of your business. I went to the side. I actually went side with this conversation.
Okay.
I went side. We were basically talking about what were we talking about. I went side.
Yeah, I was like, no,
I
this
was
is
to the
really
left.
cool. I was like, yo, this is really, really cool. This is cool. Oh, new business idea. And I asked him, why did my bro tell me about the business idea? I was like, no, this is really cool. But I wasn't sure how it related to the first part that we were talking about.
I can't. You know what? I'm gonna have to, go back. But I can't remember. But there was a connection. I think I was just
Yes.
trying to work out. I think, yeah, I was talking to you about
What we were talking about was,
entrepreneurs
is there
with
ever a
businesses.
point, is there ever a point where a small business can relax and say, okay, I'm good now. As a small business owner, I've
Yeah,
been at
yeah.
it for 2 years,
I,
4 years,
I
5
don't
years.
think you can. I don't think you can personally. I don't think ever personally.
Right.
Only if you're going to sell your business or close it down. That's when it really kind of relaxes. Or you get to a stage where you could kind of. I wouldn't necessarily say it runs itself, but you got people in different roles to then not ask you the questions that you need to deal with day in, day out.
Right.
So that's, I would think that's probably the closest you will get to of not necessarily relaxing, but okay, cool. I don't have to worry about this, and this because I've hired someone to do this, and this for me.
Yes.
If that makes sense. So I think that's the closest you get, but where you can completely say, okay, I'm not, because just, I mean, I'm made my colleague and I, business partner, we were going to, I think I told you already, we were going to purchase an electrical wholesale business.
Yeah, you said, yeah.
And the owner of the business currently lives in Wales. So the business resides in London. So he had a manager, an assistant manager, and he's got staff within the electrical wholesale business. So theoretically, he's not really dealing with the day-to-days, but what he does is make sure he checks, the sales targets have been met, profits and losses, etc., etc. But the day-to-day running of the business, he doesn't. Yeah. So that's probably, I would say, the closest thing you could get to where, therefore, okay, cool. You have that not relaxation, but you have, okay, it's being dealt with day to day. I only need to be focused on that.
Right.
On a flip side, the manager left, and
right. That's brilliant. That's a brilliant point. So in a situation like that,
his manager left. The manager left, and so therefore he has to, and the sales dropped.
Right.
And guess what? Came down. He had to come down more and more often to try and resolve that situation. Be the face of the business.
Get involved. So there's never even, I'd imagine that even a business that's got, 10 staff like yours, 20, 50 staff.
Yeah.
I'm sure the business owner is thinking to themselves, wow, what could go wrong? How could this all crumble? How could I end up, having to fire people or downscale, or how could this go wrong? I don't know if there's ever a stage as a young business owner or even as a small business owner where you think to yourself, we are all good now. Lovely. We're out there on the plane.
Right. So for example, because obviously I know you say you're in kind of a new startup, but for me, 3 years is really good. So, but anyway, so what do you worry about on a daily basis?
So I worry about what happens if my sales guy who's on commissions thinks, you know what, I'm done now. I'm not contracted. It's in terms of I'm not an employee. I can leave when I want to leave. What happens to the pipeline? Where do customers go? Who has to pick up the slack? Am I going to have to take sales calls? I worry about customers not extracting the value from our product. I worry about bad reviews. We had our first bad review, which is a complete joke. It's not justified.
Yeah.
The guy's a little bit. Honestly, he's a little bit. It's so annoying. Yeah. He's a little bit crazy. Now we're going to have to go and deal with a bad review, which is untruthfully written.
Okay.
Those are reputation is one thing. So I'll put it that way. Reputation. I worry about cash flow.
Yeah.
Am I going to have enough money at the end of the month to cover all of our bills? How much are we saving? What happens to corporation? How much corporation tax I'm going to have to pay at the end of the year? What's my VAT bill? Have I put enough aside for VAT? Mm-hmm. It's like for me as a young business, I'm always just juggling. What do I need to take care of? What do I need to? What do I need? Which fire do I need to put out? More a case of which fire do I need to prevent from starting?
Yeah.
Which fire do I need to prevent from starting? So I think these are some of the things that kind of concern me. Which
is everything that you said is pretty much the same for a lot of people who are starting businesses or get to the stage that where you're at because you're doing everything anyway. There's an element you do everything. But also you do have all those worries. All those worries I still have all those worries. So the worries. So it's how do you put things, or how have you put things in place, or have you because the next stage of your growth is what things do you put in place to mitigate some of the worries you have?
That's really good, Joel. So for things like VAT, corporation tax, I now money, not every money, but oftentimes when money comes in, whoop, into an account.
Yeah.
It's just I don't want to have to figure out at the end of the quarter or or the end of the year, wow, where's this money? Where's this sum of money coming from? Or, yo, HMRC, can I go on a payment plan because I haven't budgeted for this?
Yeah.
So even from now, I'm at the point where I'm what they call ferreting or funneling money away. What does a squirrel
Yeah.
do? The squirrel, there's a word for it that people use. I'm pushing money away into a separate account. I know at least when it comes time for VAT or when it comes time for corporation tax,
Yeah.
the money is there.
Good.
With regards to if any one of these employees should decide, okay, thanks very much. When I say employees, if any one of these contractors, because that's what they actually are, hey, listen, guys, it's been great working with you. I'm off to do another job. I guess that's one of the things we have to deal with if that ever comes, because we don't have redundancy in terms of 2 salespeople, 2 teachers. We don't have that redundancy just yet. So some of the slack will come across to me. But what we're doing and what I'm aiming for at that moment in time is to make the environment so homely. And what I mean by homely is a place where they just want to stay anyway.
Yeah.
Right. Whether that's through how much they're being paid, we pay as best as we can right now, and as soon as we can increase it, will. Whether that is the community that we're just a part of as the team, working with a smile, working with a little bit of happiness and fun around what we're doing. This is what I try to create an environment where people want to stay. So those are the main 2: people leaving, people in important roles leaving, and covering the like bills that are coming. About reputation, one of the things we're doing with reputation is genuinely serving our customers as well as we possibly can. Genuinely, like it's like we're not just here to take money. That is a very important part of business. But what I want to do is I want our customers to leave with more in value than they've paid in money. That's the thing for me. If you can leave here with more value than what you've paid in cash, then we're good. How do we deal with bad reviews? It's the first one we've ever had. The guy's a complete nutcase. It did happen as a result of a fault inside the business. I don't mind it happened. And it's my fault in some regards. I was due to meet with him. I did not, rescheduled, and missed the second meeting. Completely unacceptable. The first time it's ever happened. I cannot think of another time where this has ever happened.
Right. So what he because you've missed one meeting.
No, two.
All right, 2 meetings. Okay. Second one.
I'm cancelling. I want my money back. And it was the first 2 meetings.
Wow. Okay. Yeah.
So it was the first 2 times that I was meant to meet with him. So from my point of view, do you know what? Fair. I wish you didn't have to do this, but I've got no leg to stand on.
Yeah.
I've got no leg to stand on. It's like, bro, email, sincere apologies. Can I do something for you? Can we meet? Can I show you that this is a highly unusual circumstance? It's never happened before. Why don't we talk about it? Nope, I've made up my mind. I want my money back. No problem. No problem. Okay, cool.
Which is good. So, I mean, the good thing is, from your point of view, is that you paid him back his money in full and done.
Well, not quite in full.
Okay.
And therein is the problem.
Okay, cool. Cool.
This is interesting. We use a payment provider. So if somebody can't afford the full amount of our product, they can go via a payment provider like Klarna, similar to Klarna, ClearPay, pay it monthly.
Okay.
And that company will give us the lump sum, and they pay the customer pays that customer on that company on a monthly basis.
Okay.
Right. Really cool. Really cool services for small businesses.
But how does that work in the sense of the customer? In the sense of because that sounds more like a loan concept, where therefore
it is a loan.
Customer, yeah. So how does the person have to have a credit score and go through that whole process before that money comes to you?
Yes, to a degree. But once the payment provider has approved them for credit, that customer then needs to sign documentation and say, I'm happy with the service. I'm happy with what I'm being sold. Send them the money.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
And at the point where the customer signs that documentation, we receive the money the following week, or whatever the payment terms are the following week. Now, what happens then is we receive this customer's money. I'm just checking how much time we've got. We receive the customer's money.
Yeah.
But now he wants a refund. Okay? He wants a refund. So in order for him to have that refund, we need to send the money back to the payment provider.
Yeah.
All right?
Yeah.
Which we do not have to do because of the legal contract that this customer has signed.
Okay.
They have signed a customer and say, I'm happy with the service I'm being offered. I've received everything. And that's the thing that customers, they're not paying attention to. I've received what I have said I'm going to receive. Bam, give them the money.
Okay. What's your terms and conditions, your obligations to the customer? But forget the loan, to the customer. So what's your, try for 1 month, or you get your money back?
Or then to deliver the service that he has signed up for, to deliver the service.
Okay, so it's not a case of where even if he's unhappy with the service within, let's say, the first 2 weeks, you don't offer like a full refund or nothing like that. It's just basically once you sign, that's it. You're straight in.
Well, we have to abide by consumer law. That's just, everybody has to do that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And part of what matters to us is that in consumer law, if you're paying for an educational course, you cannot get the full refund if you've received some content. You can't, because you've received a service, even if you've only received part of it, right?
Okay. Oh, so he has received.
So he was in our community. He did receive a call from me on a weekend. He called me up for over an hour, and I spoke to him about what he needs to do with his trade and how it's going to work for him, given all of his circumstances. He called me on the weekend, right?
Okay.
So I'm like, okay, look, let me show this guy that let me try and make up for the fault. It's a Saturday afternoon. I'm chilling with my kids. He's called me on my mobile, my personal mobile number, which I'm not giving out anymore, and he's taken up an hour of my afternoon.
Yeah.
After being inside the community and receiving some of the content that he was enabled for. All right.
Okay.
Now,
yeah.
Been 2 weeks in the community while this has all been going on. Now, he's going to get charged on a monthly basis by the payment provider. We've got the full cash. He's going to get charged on a monthly basis. Yeah. So the refund to him simply means he's not going to get charged out of his account on a month-to-month basis. That's what the refund means.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
It means that, okay, I'm not going to get charged month by month by month by month.
Okay. All right. So he doesn't need to pay the loan company any money.
Oh. If he gets the full refund. If he gets a refund.
Okay, but if he doesn't get a full refund, he has to still continue, obviously, pay.
Yeah, that's between him and the payment company. It has nothing to do with me. Got it. All right.
Okay. Cool.
So number one, he's all railed up because he's signed with a payment company and he thinks that I've stitched him up. I haven't stitched you up, bro. You wanted the service. You couldn't afford the full price. We provide a facility for you to pay for this service. That's not my problem. It's between you and them. Yeah. I could have said to him quite genuinely, look at the documentation. You signed to say, pay them the money. You signed that. I could have, Joel, in this situation, as a business, we would be legally entitled to walk away and keep that money, keep that cash. Yeah. But morally, it's not the right thing to do. I know we've messed up. Yeah. Right. I know we've messed up. So I'm like, okay, cool. I'm going to send you back a refund, but you're going to pay for the time and for the service that you have received up until this point. Yeah. Man's gone off his head. Off his head.
Okay. Okay.
So from a let's just say £2,500 fee approximately, not quite as much, about 2.2, right? From a 2.2 fee, he's paid 350 quid-ish approximately. Yeah. He's had the whole amount back.
Yeah. 300 quid back?
No, he's had the balance back. So let's say it was 2.2.
Okay.
We've kept 350. Okay. So he's received eight.
Okay, cool. So he's basically received the majority of the money back.
He's received the majority of the money back. And he's written a stink review, bro. Stink, with all lies. He just has no understanding of what's actually he's got himself into.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So, number one, what do I do as a business owner here? I say, look, we messed up right at the beginning. Why? This is just your fault, Leon. That's what I look at myself in the mirror and say, this is your fault. You caught this is your problem. You caused this problem. All right. Yeah. But the way that the customer handled it, I also think was wrong. And he didn't know the facts. He didn't actually know what he had signed up for. I think we were actually really, I think we acted morally by giving him his money back and could have just walked away and said tough.
What would you have done differently?
I would have turned up to the first meeting, mate. That's what I would have done. I would have, I would have turned up to the first meeting or whatever it
Yeah.
was, whatever the reason was. I would have turned up to that.
Okay.
But in the way that we handled it everything absolutely perfectly right and honestly. After
Cool.
that,
Yeah.
genuinely, when I
Mm.
look at what we did and the time I gave him, he even went as far as saying, "You know what? Okay, after this 1 hour phone call on a Saturday afternoon, okay,
Yeah.
cool. I think you've convinced me. I'm going to give it a go."
Hmm.
I said, "Turn up to this call tomorrow. I'm going to prepare something specifically for you."
Yeah.
Up till now, I haven't seen the guy on the call.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
So there was definitely an error on our side, but I think we did the right thing by refunding the large proportion of his money
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
also respecting my time and
Mhm.
our product and our service and saying, well, no, you're not entitled to all of it back. But there
I
you
think,
go. So we're currently
yeah.
working to get that review annulled.
Removed. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it's interesting because I feel just from hearing that story, it's a good it's a good explanation. It's a good actually exposure for people to see, customer interactions and what you kind of have to do. Um, where I think you've done the right thing in a sense of obviously refunding the money back, the majority of the money back anyway. I think that's the right thing to do.
Yeah.
Just, I think the disappointing thing was him not really, you know, accepting that you did a good thing where therefore you pay the majority of the money back so he doesn't have to pay the loan back basically, because that's the key thing of paying this loan monthly, which he doesn't have to necessarily do anymore because you basically honored, you done a good thing and refunded back the money. So it's disappointing that he didn't recognize that. That's the word. So
And I think, unfortunately, I don't mind saying it. We haven't mentioned any names here, but I think unfortunately, every now and again, number one, clients or customers will experience buyer's remorse for
yeah,
whatever reason.
yeah,
I didn't get exactly what I thought on the first time. Oh, I've changed my mind, or this is not the right time for me. People experience buyer's remorse.
yeah,
Along with that, sometimes you just meet people who are a bit tapped. Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
you know what
yeah.
I mean. And unfortunately, I think that's the situation we're facing ourselves with here. He's just a little bit tapped. He's got no idea what he signed, what he got himself in for. And the
Mhm.
fact that, had we wanted to, we have got legal documentation in place to say, too bad, too bad.
And I,
We protected ourselves as a business. We use this provider to cover our back so that you can get access to the service without enough funds to do it up front. It's too
yeah.
bad. You've lost out. But that wouldn't have been the right thing to do.
I think because of the nature of your business as well, where therefore, I remember obviously we discussed about the ideal candidate or the ideal customer.
Yeah.
It sounds like I always think if someone has to take a loan to do this, then there's always going to be that that unfortunately the chance of that happening.
Yeah,
Basically,
really,
that
really well said. Really well
yeah.
said. Really, really well said. It really does help us in terms of cash flow.
Hmm.
But you're right. I think part of what we're going to be doing over the next few months is really upping the quality of the candidates that come into our business, so that
Yeah,
if they're using a payment provider, then they can comfortably afford it. It's a choice of, I'd rather
yeah.
pay monthly rather than pay all up front. So give me the payment provider.
And I think because of the nature of the educational, it's like for example, let's say I want to go and do an accountancy course. I
Yeah,
have to go pay for it. I
yeah,
know from me that I need to put the time in, put the effort in for me to get the course. So I've got the course, but with your course, it's even though of however you delivered it to them, in their head, I'm going to make money, and
man.
that's how they equivalate it. So it's like, okay, there has in their mindset, it's like this should provide me some form of return and money.
Return. Correct,
Yeah.
correct, correct.
So and it's that psyche to say, okay, that individual person is that yes, it's giving you a skill to access the market so you can learn how to do it, but it's not
Yes,
a guarantee.
absolutely right, brother. Absolutely right. And I'm telling you, that's why you're the ideal client. That's why
Yeah,
people like you are the
yeah,
ideal client, because you're just like, okay, cool. I'm acquiring a skill here,
yeah,
but going to piano lessons doesn't mean I'm going to play at the Royal Albert Hall.
yeah,
You understand? You
definitely.
understand
Yeah,
what I'm
hundred
saying?
percent. Yeah,
Yeah,
100%.
you know what I mean. So yeah, we gotta deal with that. And I think again, one of the lessons I take is number one, I always, as a business owner, and this is an encouragement to anybody that's listening, as a small business owner, is that you must take full accountability. For me, I must take full accountability. This was my error. Even if something else happens, that was somebody else's error in the business.
It's
I've
still
got to
on you.
own that. It
Yeah,
stops
still
here.
on you.
It stops with me, right?
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
So I take full accountability. What I would have liked to have seen from the client is just a little bit more, just a little bit more understanding
Hmm.
of what he was really involved with here, what he was really involved with, and that actually we don't have to do anything. We don't have to.
Yeah,
We genuinely, legally do not have to do anything.
yeah, yeah. I think
Free,
probably
free
moving,
money. That
probably,
could have, you know?
yeah, probably moving forward. I think when they do sign up to this payment scheme, it's probably yourself or your team,
Yeah,
going through it in detail, like these are the terms and conditions, even though you guys have just ticked it, but it's kind of like reassuring or just re-irritating, not re-irritating, just
reiterating. Yes,
re. There you go.
yes, yes,
Um,
yes.
so therefore, there's accountability on their side as well.
That's correct. And
Yeah.
we're gonna create a much more robust contract, internal contract,
Mhm.
so that no matter what contract they signed with a payment provider, if they use one, they understand really well the terms of our own internal contract. So all stuff that we have to think about and consider
A
in a
good
growth.
learning curve, man. It's a
It's
good learning
brilliant.
curve,
It's a brilliant.
and
Absolutely
that,
love the
and
journey.
yeah, it's a journey. You're not going to please everyone. That's it. So if you have that in your mindset, it's difficult. Don't get me wrong, because
Yeah.
it does affect you personally, even though you try not to. But it is it's your baby, it's your business. So it will hit you personally, but with you'll be able to deal with it better as the
Yeah,
time goes on.
yeah. Absolutely right.
Um, and it's just
Absolutely.
making sure your mindset is like, yeah, I can't, and you can't please everyone. You
No,
cannot.
listen, and
So,
that's the truth. That is the truth. We want to. That's the aim of the business, is to please everyone. But you're right. You can,
and that's the thing. So, I
what
mean,
Marley said in it. You can't please all. You can please some people sometimes.
yeah, but and this is the last thing I'll say on it is, especially with me, is or if I do lose a customer, which I have done a few
Yeah,
times,
yeah.
um, I say to myself, well, I know I'm kind of content with it to a certain extent because I've given them my all.
Correct, brother. And let me tell you this: the way I served that customer when he called me on the middle of the Saturday afternoon when I was chilling with my kids,
Yeah.
the way I served that customer, I said to myself, whatever happens from here,
Hmm.
I've done the best that I can in this,
Yeah.
from this scenario, from this point. Whatever happens from here, can't do any more.
100%.
Can't do any better for this guy.
Cool. Well, on that note, I hope you have a good rest of the week and a
Appreciate
good
you, bro.
journey,
I'm going
good business
right.
journey.
Appreciate it. I'm going right into more teaching, literally in the next 5 minutes, and then taking a day off tomorrow, bro. I'm actually playing
That's
golf
good.
tomorrow.
That's
Playing.
good. Actually, funny enough, I've got a day off tomorrow as well.
Have you
Well,
really?
yeah, kind of. Got my nephew's around, and then yeah, it'll be a good day.
Love it, love it. Well, have a good time with the nephews,
Cool.
and we'll do this again next week.
Yeah. So we'll see you guys on the next one. So yeah, keep it cool.
Take care, everyone.
Take care. Bye.